Welcome into Leveraging Your Reality, where mindset meets movement. I'm Shavon Camper, your partner in growth as you become a healthier you, a healthier parent, a healthier spouse, and a healthier leader. Today, I want to talk about workplace loyalty. It has been over 10 years ago. I remember clear as day sitting at work saying to myself, this is the way we do work is not going to work very long. Like we have to go into a different mode because everybody was job hopping, including me. Like I was literally hopping from one job to the next every 2 to 3 years. And this is before hopping even had a term. And a big part of what led me to job hopping was in my line of work as a social worker, there were no raises, there were no bonuses, there was no commission. Wherever they hired me in is where I would stay at salary wise until who knows when. I think every once in a while they may have had one of those raises where it's like cost of living raise, but outside of that there wasn't anything. And in my mind I was like, it doesn't make sense for me to stay here. It's every time I switched jobs, I was able to at least get $10,000 more. And I'm like, well, I might as well. If they can't get me a raise, I'll give myself a raise. And now we've gotten into a space where mass layoffs are happening. They've been happening for the past several months, maybe even well over a year now. And there's just no loyalty in the workplace from employer to employee and even from employee to employer. And if we continue down the road that we're going right now, what happens is trust is going to diminish because this structure is just no longer working. I'm hiring you as a full time employee and you're going to give 40 hours a week, and this is the way it's going to go. Over 10 years ago, I said it. I said, we are moving into a contracting world. I think if we continue to move into the contracting space, it's already happening, especially in my industry as a coach. I contract with a bunch of other companies, and it's I contract with them, whatever, however long that goes, it goes. It varies, but there is no sense of like, why'd you fire me, or why did you change this, or why did you change that? There's an understanding of I am here to deliver this skill that I have, and you want to deliver the skill I have to other people. I'm here to make your thing happen. You're here to make my thing happen. And I find too, also in the contracting space, is that you tend to get paid more because they're not paying for your all the benefits that come with full-time employees. And what this means for workers is that people are going to have to get clear on the skills that they bring to the table. And knowing the skills you bring to the table will put you in position to set yourself up to be contracted. If you don't know what you bring to the table and how you bring it to the table, what's your secret sauce, as the workforce continues to evolve, it's going to be difficult for you to lock down roles. And it's not saying that they're going to completely get rid of all employees. I think there will be W-2 employees. I also don't think there's anything wrong with being a W-2 employee. But this sense of security that used to come with the job force is not, it doesn't exist anymore. And this even goes back to, there was pensions and they got rid of pensions. By the time I entered the workforce, there were little to no companies that offered pensions. My aunt just retired and she has these pensions. And I'm like, pension? I don't get a pension. And then there's like 401k contribution matches and all these things. You could carry those along wherever you go, but it's not enough to stay anymore. And companies are trying to use benefits to make people stay. But if everybody has cool benefits, me going from company A to company B, I could probably still get the same level of benefits. I think trust is going to be built on understanding that the way the workforce has existed for the last however long is not going to be successful with moving forward, and it's really going to decrease trust. People are walking around afraid and they're like, there's no job security. There hasn't been job security in a long time. It's been an illusion of security. But job security, like people, you could be let go at any moment. It's always been like that. It was just less likely to happen. And now that it's happening more often, instead of putting our energy into what the employers need to do and how they need to change things, I really think you talk about leveraging your reality. look at, okay, how do I leverage the fact that I tend to get laid off every 1 to 2 years or 1 to 3 years? Companies are, first it was just employees job hopping. Now companies are starting to employee hop. They lay off a whole set and then bring in a whole new set. It's the same thing, but now it's happening on the other side and it doesn't feel good. When it comes to leadership, I think it's going to be a big part with how leaders work with their employees, knowing that, hey, I'm gonna invest in you, I'm gonna build you up, and most likely within the next 2 to 5 years, you're going to leave. I don't think it means as leaders it's time to hoard you giving out. No, still pour into these people. These are your networks that you're building. If you are a leader that builds people up and helps them along, then that's your network building. They may end up in a space where they can contract you in. And, a great analogy of this is a pizza pie. There was a time where you get to get a pizza and you get to have one topping. And whatever topping you choose, that's the topping you're going to have to eat forever in workforce. One job, stay there 30 years, that's the end of it. That was the norm. Now we're moving into a space where there's a pizza pie, and how you earn income could be based off the different slices. You could have anchovies, you could have chicken, you could have sausage, you could have a cheese slice, but every slice doesn't have to be the same. And I think it's going to be similar with how we're going into the workforce with how you earn income. How you earn income may be, hey, two of my slices come from this contractor, one of my slices come from business, another one of my slices comes from this little side hustle I have going on over here with a friend. And that's the world that we're going into, where entrepreneurial thinking is going to be necessary. I'll never forget when I got let go from a job. The thing that brought me a sense of peace was I had already started my business and was already making some income over there. And no, going from I'm making all this money to I'm making $0, guaranteed stressful. Like, that is so stressful. Even if you go from I'm making all this money to now I'm just making what's in my business, even if it doesn't cover all of your expenses, hey, it covers a portion, and that's a little less to worry about. So I really, really challenge all of you, whether you're a leader, whether you're an employee, whether you're an entrepreneur, to really start thinking about how you look at workforce and how you look at yourself, and being able to pinpoint what are the skills that I bring to the table and how can I begin contracting. Just because you work full time, it doesn't mean you can't contract. Definitely check any disclosures that you've signed, but many people, they don't have disclosures. They could use that same service in other places. Check, know what you bring to the table, and networking is going to be huge in this. Every time you go somewhere, you work hard, you give your best, because later on, when people come with these opportunities, they're reaching out to you. Start reaching out to other people with opportunities. If you are in a current layoff, again, start figuring out, how do I outsource the skills that I already have, looking for different marketplaces that solicit the type of skill that you have, because it's changing. Your pizza pie is going to require different toppings than it's ever required before, because there's no loyalty. You could either be mad at the fact that there's no loyalty, or you could start leveraging into a reality of, okay, how do I operate in corporate spaces, knowing that the loyalty has shifted around, and it's not, I'm going to be here the next 30 years, I'm going to be here the next 10, 15, or even 5 years. Remember, growth isn't always easy, but when you're doing it in partnership with others, it becomes a lot more possible. If you like this content, be sure to subscribe below and share it with someone who needs the message, because we don't grow alone, people. We grow together. Until next time, keep showing up and keep leveraging your reality.